Hello, welcome back. DJ Vic Vapor with you. Bitwig Studio 2 drum machine course, and this is part 2 of our sample tutorial within the drum machine course. So in the last tutorial, we talked a little bit about the sampler and gave you a basic overview of what's going on within the sampler. And in this tutorial, I just want to take a look at one powerful way to manipulate this sound within the sampler. Now, we all know and are aware of the excitement of Bitwig Studio 2 and the myriad of modulators and modulation possibilities, and that is a rabbit hole for a whole nother course. I'm just going to take the sampler, a sample, and we're just going to look at one classic LFO, just to kind of put our heads around modulation in general. So I'm going to grab the classic LFO. We've got that guy opened up in here now, and here's a look at its interface. But it's not actually doing anything right now. It's not assigned to do anything to any of the parameters, so there's nothing going on with it. But let's take a listen to our sound. Just kind of a rumbly little bass wave sound. Nothing too extraordinary going on there. But let's add some excitement to it after we take a look at the LFO and understand a little bit more about it. So right here it's selected under Hertz for the amount, like not the amount, but the way it's going to attack our movement. We turn it up to 100. And then if I move this up and down, you can see over here kind of the rate change, and that's in Hertz. Now we've got our different beat divisions here if you wanted to choose one of those, and within the beat divisions you can select, you know, whatever you want, eighth, 32nd, whatever you'd like there. And then we've got our waveforms over here. We've got this sinusoidal little deal here, like a square, and this is like a on off kind of up and down. I don't know the names of them, not really worried about that. But those are our different wave shapes over here, our different pattern shapes. We've got our amount that you saw me working with, 100, and at 0 it's not going to do anything. At 100, and somewhere in between there it can dial into taste. Then you've got your phase, and then your bipolar is going to make whatever knob we assign this to. Let's say we're going to work with a filter, so let's put a low pass on here. And let's say we assigned our filter bipolar makes it go, I guess that's probably not a good example unless it's really in the center. But see in the center how it's going back and forth, left and right. When I turn that off, now it's just going to one side or the other. It's just going to the left side. Bipolar, both sides. So that's kind of the bipolar understanding of how that works. And then you've got your note trigger, which if that's selected, the pattern of the LFO will restart every time a new note is triggered. And then per voice isn't really anything that we can use within the sampler, but if we had a polysynth or another synth up here, per voice allows us to actually create per voice modulation. So like if your synth has the, you know, multiple voice selections where you can select, you know, from 0 or 1 to, I don't know, 16 or whatever the number may be, you can actually have per voice modulation, which gets pretty intricate and pretty exciting once you start learning and understanding how that works. But that's maybe for another tutorial. So that is a good basic look at the classic LFO. Now let's hear it in action against our filter here. So again, I'm going to play our sound up here, and I've got it there, so let's hear. And of course, we don't have to have it just assigned to our filter. We can have it assigned to just about any parameter we want on here, and that's the power of and the excitement of the Bitwig Studio 2 modulation kind of features and elements. So that's just a real basic, straightforward look at sampler and ways to manipulate and modulate some of it with the classic LFO. Let's go on to one more look at the sampler, and then we'll wrap up sampler and get back into our drum machine course and get a little bit further into our sound design and what we can do with the drum machine. So on the next tutorial for the sampler, I want to take a look at how you can load multiple samples as opposed to just this one individual sound. So I'll talk to you in the next tutorial.